If you have felt a fundamental, irreversible shift in your being in the last 48 to 72 hours, this is not in your head. This is your confirmation. Your higher self just triggered the end frequency. This is not a spiritual metaphor. It is a quantum event. It is a singularity point in your personal consciousness field that has initiated a total system reboot of your reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. In the next 50 minutes, I will validate with absolute precision what you are feeling right now. I will explain the 3-stage end frequency protocol that your own higher intelligence has initiated within your system, and I will give you the essential navigation tools for what can only be described as a total rebirth. We are moving beyond theory and into the applied science of consciousness. The mechanics of this are not mystical. They are rooted in the established principles of quantum resonance and coherent field theory, concepts proven by physicists that explain exactly how a single, perfectly timed frequency can collapse an entire reality system and boot up a new one. It's the same principle that allows an opera singer to shatter a crystal glass with their voice. The glass has a natural, resonant frequency. When the singer produces a pure, sustained tone at that exact frequency, the energy builds within the crystal's structure until its atomic bonds can no longer contain the vibration. The structure fails. It shatters. The end. Frequency is that pure, sustained tone broadcast by the totality of your consciousness. And the crystal glass is the old matrix of your identity and your reality. It was designed to shatter. For the last few days, or perhaps weeks, you may have been feeling profoundly disoriented. You might feel a strange sense of detachment from the life you have meticulously built, as if you are watching a movie of someone else's existence. Goals that once drove you may suddenly feel hollow, empty. Passions that once defined you now feel like echoes from a distant past. There can be a sense of profound loss for a life you no longer want, mixed with an electric, almost terrifying excitement for a future you cannot yet see. You are standing in the hallway between two worlds. One is dissolving behind you and the other is not yet fully rendered in front of you. This is not a sign of breakdown. It is not depression. It is not you failing at your spiritual practice. It is the primary symptom that the protocol is active and successful. This is the higher self connection explained not as a meditation you do, but as a quantum state that has been activated within you. It is a direct, systemic intervention. If this validation of what you've been feeling deep in your soul resonates, hit the like button now. It signals to the universe and the algorithm that this truth is ready to be anchored in the collective. To understand what is happening, you must first reframe the event. This was not a random occurrence. It was not a cosmic accident. This was the activation of what can be called the cosmic failsafe. Imagine before you entered this timeline, your higher intelligence, the totality of you, pre-programmed a failsafe into your spiritual DNA. It's a dormant code, a hidden protocol designed to activate at the precise moment you had gathered enough experience, enough data from the old reality, and were on the verge of simply repeating old timeline loops. Its purpose is to prevent spiritual stagnation. Its function is to guarantee your evolution by initiating a forced system upgrade when you were ready, even if the human aspect of you was not consciously aware of it. That moment was now. The failsafe has been triggered. The end frequency is now the dominant signal in your field, and it is systematically overriding every lesser frequency, every limiting belief, every trauma loop, every identity construct that is not in resonance with your true soul signature. The confusion you feel is simply the lag time between the old system powering down and the new one fully booting up. So let this be the moment your perspective shifts. You are not a victim of some chaotic, energetic shift. You are the beneficiary of a flawless, divine plan of your own design. By the end of our time together today, you will move from being a confused passenger in this profound transformation to becoming the conscious, empowered pilot of your own rebirth. You will understand the physics, recognize the signs, and hold the tools to consciously collaborate with the most powerful event of your entire existence. The shattering has begun. Now, let's architect what comes next. To understand what is happening to you, you must stop thinking in terms of psychology and start thinking in terms of physics. Your entire reality, everything you have ever known yourself to be, is a complex pattern of information held in place by a specific frequency. This is your personal quantum field. It is not a metaphor. It is the energetic architecture of your existence. For years, for lifetimes, this field has been broadcasting a consistent, stable signal, the signal of the person you believed you were, living in the world you believed was real. This signal was a composite of your beliefs, your memories, your traumas, your ancestral programming. It was a standing wave, a predictable hum that created a predictable reality. And then, your higher self introduced a new frequency. This wasn't a gentle nudge or a whisper of inspiration. The end frequency is a high-amplitude, perfectly coherent signal broadcast from a higher dimensional aspect of your own consciousness. It is designed to do one thing with ruthless efficiency, to introduce a resonance so powerful that the old, stable pattern cannot hold its structure any longer. It begins to vibrate uncontrollably, to shatter. This is the scientific explanation for the feeling that your entire world, your very identity, is dissolving. Because it is. This process is not chaotic. It is a meticulously designed protocol, a sequence. We call it the end frequency protocol, and it is the three-stage installation process for an entirely new reality. The first stage is the system interrupt. This is what you have just experienced. It's the initial shock, the moment the new frequency hits your field and triggers a fatal system error in your old reality program. It's the cosmic equivalent of the blue screen of death. The old operating system can no longer function. Think back to the moment this shift began. Was it a feeling of quiet dissolution or a sudden energetic shock? Acknowledge the unique signature of your own awakening. The second stage is code deletion. This is the phase of dissolution. As the old system crashes, the end frequency begins to act like a degaussing magnet, erasing the old lines of code. Your attachments, your desires, your long-held goals, your very sense of self, they are not just changing, they are being deleted from the hard drive of your reality. This feels disorienting, even terrifying. It feels like loss. But you cannot install a new operating system on a drive filled with corrupted old files. The space must be cleared. The third stage is the new OS boot up. Once the old code is sufficiently cleared, the new reality, which was encoded within the end frequency signal, itself begins to render. It boots up. This is the emergence of the new you, the new timeline, the new state of being. This protocol explains why all your previous spiritual work felt so inconsistent. It explains the frustration, the cycles of progress and retreat. You have been diligently trying to run advanced software on an outdated operating system. You were trying to install programs like unconditional abundance, sovereign freedom, and embodied peace onto a system whose core, programming whose source code was limitation, separation, and fear. It was never going to work. You would run the affirmations, do the visualizations, and the system would crash because the underlying code could not support the application. You were not failing. Your methods were not wrong. The very architecture of your reality was incompatible with the results you were trying to generate. The end frequency protocol doesn't give you a new app. It upgrades the entire operating system. So, a lot of people are asking, what is the end frequency consciousness? This is it, explained simple. It is the baseline frequency of your new operating system, and it cannot run the old programs of lack or fear. It is constitutionally incapable of rendering those experiences as real. This leads us to the most critical paradigm shift you must now make. Your work is no longer to create a new reality. The creation is already done. The new reality operating system is already encoded, pre-installed within the signal you are now receiving. Your only job, your only true spiritual work from this moment forward, is to stop rebooting the old system out of habit. Your focus, your attention, your belief, your observation, every time you direct them toward the old story, the old limitations, the old identity, you are attempting to reboot a system that has already been scheduled for deletion. You are trying to run a ghost program. The new paradigm is not about effortful creation. It is about radical allowance. It's about letting the old code finish deleting and allowing the new system, which is infinitely more intelligent, powerful, and aligned than anything you could have conceived of with your old mind, to finally boot up and render on the screen of your life. We have been operating under a fundamental misunderstanding, a core error in our spiritual logic that has kept us in a state of perpetual seeking. We see the higher self as something outside of us, above us, a benevolent, higher dimensional guide we must strive to connect with, to listen to earn the guidance of. We treat it like a cosmic parent or a distant command center, hoping it will send help, hoping it will transmit the frequency we need. This is the central paradox we must now dissolve. The higher self is not an external entity sending you a lifeline. The higher self is the totality of your consciousness. The consciousness reading these words. Right now, the identity you call me is not the whole of you. It is a highly focused projection of that totality, experiencing a specific bandwidth of reality. Think of it as a single explorer sent from a vast, intelligent mothership. The end frequency was not a signal sent to the explorer from the ship. It was a pre-programmed command activated by the mothership, from within the explorer's own system, at a predetermined time. The trigger wasn't sent to you, it was activated by you, at a higher level of you. Let the weight of that truth settle into your system. This single shift in perspective changes everything about the experience you are having right now. It means your rebirth is not conditional. It is not a reward for meditating enough, for clearing enough karma, for finally getting it right. It is not a test you might fail. It is an inevitability you designed. You, the total consciousness, the grand architect of your experience, wrote this code. You embedded this end frequency protocol into your own spiritual DNA as a failsafe, as an evolutionary catalyst. You set the timer for its activation before this projection of you ever entered this timeline. This means you cannot get it wrong. The feeling of confusion is part of the protocol. The sense of dissolution is the code running perfectly. The process is flawlessly tailored to you because it was designed by you, for you. All the anxiety about spiritual performance, the fear of falling behind, the subtle hopelessness that you might not be worthy of this great shift, release it. It is based on the false premise that you are a student trying to pass a test. You are not the student. You are the dean of the university who wrote the curriculum, and this changes the entire approach. The old paradigm was about seeking, striving, climbing, trying to achieve a state of being. The new paradigm is about surrender. It is about allowance. The work is not to achieve rebirth, but to surrender to the rebirth that you, yourself, already initiated. This is how to navigate a consciousness shift from a place of ultimate power. You stop trying to control it and start collaborating with the part of you that is orchestrating it. You stop trying to steer the ship in the storm, and you remember that you are the ocean itself. Your only job is to allow the old operating system to be deleted without panicking and trying to reinstall it out of habit. You actively allow the dissolution of the old identity, the old reality, knowing it is making space for the masterpiece you already designed. This leads us to the ultimate transformation of identity. You are not a human being undergoing a spiritual event. You are a divine consciousness deploying a pre-planned human experience upgrade. Read that again. Feel the structure of your reality reconfigure around that truth. The entire story shifts from one of a limited being hoping for a miracle to a limitless creator witnessing a pre-planned deployment. You move from the character in the story to the author of the story, from a perceived victim of cosmic circumstance to the silent orchestrator of your own becoming. What if the identity you've been fighting to hold on to is the very cage the end frequency is designed to dissolve? What freedom exists on the other side of that dissolution? This new understanding is not an abstract philosophy. It is not a comfort for the mind. The end frequency protocol is a physical deployment. It is a quantum event that leaves clear, undeniable fingerprints all over your external reality. The epiphany you just had is not the end of the journey. It is the moment you are handed the decryption key to read the code of your own rebirth as it renders in real time. For days, perhaps weeks, you have been witnessing the evidence, but you have been misinterpreting the signs. You have been reading system confirmations as error messages. You have been seeing progress bars as signs of system failure. Let's correct that now. There are three primary, counterintuitive signs that the protocol is active and the installation of your new reality is nearing completion. These signs are not subtle. They are jarring. They are designed to be impossible to ignore. The first sign is the great void. This is a sudden, jarring, and profound loss of passion for the very things that once defined your identity. It is the career. You spent decades building that now feels like a hollow set of tasks. It is the hobby that once brought you infinite joy that now collects dust, feeling like a relic from another lifetime. It can even be relationships, friendships that were the bedrock of your social life, that now feel energetically disconnected, as if you are speaking to them from across a vast, invisible chasm. This is not depression. Pay close attention. Depression is often characterized by a heavy, dense feeling of apathy and hopelessness. The great void feels different. It feels clean. It feels empty. It is not the presence of pain, but the stark absence of a former drive. You are reading the delete command in your own source code. Your higher self, the master programmer, is not being cruel. It is being efficient. The old operating system was built on a foundation of mission files. Achieve this status. Acquire this relationship. Master this skill. The end frequency cannot install a new reality while those old mission directives are still running, so it simply deletes them. It wipes the slate clean. That feeling of emptiness is not a loss. It is the creation of sacred space. It is the sound of the system holding its breath, waiting for the new prime directive to be loaded. You are not broken. You are becoming unbound. The second sign is synchronistic chaos. Your spiritual training has taught you to look for gentle, positive synchronicities, a feather on your path, the right song on the radio. But what is happening to you now is something else entirely. It is a rapid, disorienting acceleration of both positive and negative synchronicities, often happening simultaneously. You'll see 11:11 on the clock at the exact moment you receive a deeply troubling email. You'll have a flash of insight about your life's purpose, and 5 minutes later, your car won't start. Miracles and misfortunes are happening at a dizzying pace. Your reality feels like it's glitching, becoming unstable, unpredictable. It is. This is not the universe testing you or being bipolar. This is the old reality matrix destabilizing as it dissolves. As the end frequency overwrites the old code, the rendering engine of your perception begins to fail. The simulation starts to stutter. You are seeing the machinery behind the illusion. The positive synchronicities are glimpses of the new OS booting up, while the negative ones are the final, desperate error. Signals from the old system as its core files become corrupted and it crashes. Do not try to make logical sense of the chaos. Instead, see it for what it is. You are witnessing the controlled demolition of your old timeline. You are seeing the seams of the matrix before it fades to black. This chaos is the most potent sign that the collapse is imminent and successful. The third sign is what I call emotional polarity flashes. This may be the most confusing sign of all. You experience moments of the most profound, groundless cosmic bliss. A wave of love and unity so powerful it brings you to tears, for no apparent reason at all. Then, hours or even minutes later, you are plunged into a wave of deep, ancient grief. A sorrow that feels ancestral, planetary. A sadness that you know intellectually is not yours, but you are feeling it with every cell in your body. From ecstatic joy to bottomless grief in the blink of an eye. This is not a mood swing. This is a frequency war. It is the old emotional operating system, built on separation and loss, rebooting against the new one, which operates on the frequency of unity and unconditional love. For a brief period during the transition, both systems are running concurrently. The flashes of bliss are you connecting to the new baseline reality. The waves of grief are your body purging the final remnants of the old emotional code, the cached files of thousands of years of human suffering that were stored in your energetic field. Do not identify with either state. Observe them. Allow the bliss to remind you of your destination. Allow the grief to pass through you, knowing it is the final echo of a world you are leaving behind forever. It is the system's final emotional defragmentation before the old OS is silenced for good. The great void, synchronistic chaos, emotional polarity flashes. These are not problems to be solved. They are not signs that you are doing something wrong. They are progress bars. They are system confirmations, telling you exactly how far along the installation is. The void is the disk being formatted. The chaos is the old software being uninstalled. The emotional flashes are the final driver updates before the new system becomes your permanent reality. You are reading the code of your own becoming. In the comments below, share which of the 3 rebirth signs you've experienced most profoundly in the last few days. Reading each other's experiences creates a powerful field of collective validation. I read every comment. You understand the theory. You see the evidence in your own life. Now we move beyond the mind. We are going to feel the truth of this, to embody it. So if you can, just for the next few moments, close your eyes. If you are driving or cannot, simply bring your awareness inward. Take a slow, deep breath, and another. Settle into the space you are in. Let's begin by sensing the energy of your old identity, the familiar hum of who you have been up until this moment. Don't judge it. Don't push it away. Just notice its frequency, its weight, its patterns. This identity has been your vehicle, your protector, your guide. Acknowledge it with profound gratitude for every lesson, every heartbreak, every victory it delivered you. Thank it for its service. And now, with your inner voice, simply and quietly ask your higher self to make you aware of the end frequency as it exists in your body right now. Do not look for it. Do not search for a feeling. Simply allow it to emerge into your awareness. Release all expectation. It may be subtle at first, a warmth beginning to glow in your chest, a faint, high-frequency vibration in your hands or at the base of your spine. It might be a color that blossoms behind your closed eyes, a silent sound, a tone that you feel more than you hear. Whatever it is for you, gently place your attention there. This is the signal. This is your home frequency. Now breathe into it. Imagine your breath is fanning this tiny spark, this faint vibration, this subtle color. With each inhale, you are giving it permission to expand. With each exhale, you are releasing the density of the old operating system. Feel it growing, expanding from that single point, flowing through your veins, illuminating every cell, filling the space between your atoms. Feel this frequency saturate your entire being until there is no part of you that it does not touch. There is no separation between you and this feeling. This is not a state you are visiting. This is the truth of who you are, returning to itself. This frequency is your true nature. It is not a state to achieve. It is the fundamental reality to which you are returning. Feel the total unshakable certainty in this. This is you. And from this space of total embodiment, gently begin to bring your awareness back to your body, to the room you are in. But carry this feeling with you. As you tune into that core frequency, what one word comes to mind that defines its essence? That word is your new true north. You are now operating as a rebirth architect. Read that again. This is not a title you earn. It is an identity you are now activating. An architect does not struggle with the raw materials. An architect does not force steel beams into place with their bare hands or lay every brick in a panic. An architect understands the universal laws, gravity, tension, compression, and creates a blueprint so elegant that the structure builds itself in perfect alignment with those laws. You are not here to fight your old reality into submission. You are here to design the new one so exquisitely that the old one simply becomes obsolete. Your tools are not force but focus, not effort, but elegance. Here is your first architectural tool. It is perhaps the most powerful. We call it the deselection protocol. In the quantum model of reality, your focused awareness is the force that collapses infinite possibility into a single observable experience. What you consistently observe, you consistently energize and make real in your field. This is a law. For years you have been taught to focus on what you want, but you were never taught the critical corollary. You must consciously withdraw focus from what you no longer want. To deselect an old reality, you must starve it of your observation. This is not a passive act. It is a decisive, conscious withdrawal of the single most powerful currency in the universe, your attention. When a thought pattern from the old operating system arises, a worry about money, a pang of loneliness for a past relationship, an old story of victimhood, you do not fight it. You do not analyze it. You simply deselect it. You look away. You calmly and deliberately place your focus back onto the felt sense of your end frequency. You treat the old thought like a pop-up ad for a product you no longer use. You don't get angry at it. You just close the window. Every time you refuse to engage with the energy of the old timeline, you cut its power supply. Every time you refuse to retell an old story, you accelerate its dissolution. You are pulling your quantum entanglement out of that system, and without your energy, it must, by law, dematerialize. It must fade from your field of experience. What is the first habit, relationship, or belief system from your old reality that you will consciously deselect and stop observing? Starting today, decide now. That decision is the first stroke of your new architectural blueprint. Your second tool is frequency anchoring. This is your daily calibration. It is the practice that ensures you are building from the correct energetic foundation each and every day. It takes 3 minutes, every morning. Before you engage with the world, you will perform this anchor. Minute 1. Close your eyes. Place a hand on your heart and one on your solar plexus. Do not try to find the end frequency. Simply create the space for it to be found. Remember the feeling you embodied earlier. Recall its signature. It may be a vibration, a warmth, a color, a feeling of deep peace or silent power. Invite that feeling into your awareness. Minute 2. Breathe into it. With every inhale, you draw more of that frequency into your physical body. With every exhale, you allow it to expand, pushing out any residual density from the old code. You are not just remembering the frequency, you are becoming it again. You are instructing every cell in your body that this is its new baseline reality. This is home. Minute 3. From within that anchored state, you make a declaration, a simple one. Today, I observe my world through this frequency. This is the only lens I use. All that is not in resonance with this frequency is invisible to me. This is not meditation to escape the world. This is calibration to create it. You are setting your energetic true north for the day, ensuring that every choice, every word, every action originates from the core of your new operating system. The third tool is for navigating the dissolution. As you apply the first two tools, the architecture of your old reality will begin to visibly crumble. This is a moment of great power that is often misinterpreted as a moment of great pain. Relationships will end. Careers may dissolve. Identities you cherished will feel hollow and meaningless. Your old programming will call this loss. It will trigger grief. The rebirth architect calls this a system confirmation. Every piece of your old life that falls away is not a failure. It is irrefutable proof that the protocol is working. It is a sign that the uninstall process is successful. When a program is deleted from a computer, you don't mourn the loss of the icon from your desktop. You celebrate the newly available space. You must learn to see the departure of the old not as a tragedy, but as a system notification. Deletion successful. Space cleared for new installation. Reframe your grief into a profound gratitude. Thank the relationship for the lessons that prepared you for this rebirth and release it. Thank the old job for the resources it provided and release it. You are not losing parts of yourself. You are shedding a costume that has become too small. This brings us to the integration framework, the master blueprint that holds all the tools together. It is a single question you will live with every hour of every day. What would I do right now if I knew my new reality was already fully installed and just waiting for me to look at it? This question is a key. It bypasses all the logical roadblocks of how and when. It dissolves the illusion of separation between you and what you desire. It forces you to act, think, and feel from the state of arrival, not as someone trying to get to a new reality, but as the one who is already there, simply choosing where to place their attention first. You are the architect. The blueprint is complete. The frequency is anchored. Now begin. You have arrived. You now understand the mechanics of the end frequency protocol. You have been given the perceptual tools to recognize the signs of rebirth not as chaos, but as confirmation codes rendering on the screen of your reality. You have felt the frequency in your own body. You hold the practical architecture to deselect the old timeline and anchor the new one. Your rebirth is no longer a hopeful concept. It is an active, conscious, and certain reality. You are the architect. But this individual rebirth was never the final goal. It was the necessary prerequisite. It was the essential, non-negotiable first step. The entire cosmic process you have just navigated, the dissolution, the void, the reintegration, was about getting your system online. It was about upgrading your personal terminal from a state of disconnection to one of full high-bandwidth connection to the source code of reality. Now, we learn to use the network. Your journey inward was always meant to unlock your journey outward. Think of your stabilized consciousness, your anchored end frequency, as a single, perfectly tuned broadcasting tower. It emits a clear, coherent signal into the quantum field. By itself, this is a monumental achievement. It creates a zone of coherence around you, influencing your personal reality, drawing to you experiences that resonate with your new operating system. But what happens when one broadcasting tower consciously connects with another? What happens when 1,000 of these towers, 1,000,000, all begin to broadcast the same coherent signal in unison? This isn't a metaphor. This is quantum entanglement in action. When one rebirth architect stabilizes their frequency, they create a coherent field. When multiple architects consciously connect their fields, something extraordinary happens. You stop just influencing your personal reality, and you begin to broadcast a harmonic resonance that can upgrade the entire collective reality. The signal amplifies. It becomes a wave that can rewrite the code of the collective dream. You don't just create a personal oasis. You become part of an irrigation system for the entire desert. This is the next horizon of our work together. We move from the personal SAO to the planetary. We move from receiving the code to broadcasting the code. That is why you must be here for our next transmission. We will explore how your newly stabilized consciousness is a reality engine, a powerful piece of quantum technology designed for a singular purpose. I will give you the ignition sequence. We will then dive deep into the physics of collective coherence, into the mechanics of entanglement, and I will show you precisely why your personal awakening is the master key to the global shift we all came here to witness. Subscribe and activate all notifications. In our next transmission, your consciousness is a reality engine. Here's the ignition sequence. We move from navigating rebirth to consciously engineering reality. You must be here for that initiation. The work is done. Now, the service begins. Your rebirth is not just for you. It never was. It is a gift to the world. A lighthouse activated on a dark shore, providing a signal, a frequency, a path for others to find their own way home. Go forward with this knowing deep in the core of your being. The most important, most powerful, most world-changing work you will ever do is simply being the new you. Fully, unapologetically, completely.